Now you riding with hippies for Trump. I said it before, white men couldn't jump in. Hippies hit the scene and this channel I bump.
What is going on, Liberty lovers? And thank you so much for clicking on this video. This is Hippies for Trump. We like to bring you frontline footage, travel across the country, and go to where the news is. We know the media lies, so I like to be there to bring you the frontline truth. But I'm only able to do that from your support. So thank you all the people funding the fight out there. If you're new, don't sweat it. Just hit that subscribe button and become a Liberty lover. You are amazing. America rocks.
If your daddy didn't tell you, let me explain this channel. Now you riding with hippies for Trump. Opposing opinions is what we want. Provide a platform so that you can talk. Give you encouragement so you can walk that walk.
We have another award that we want to give out to someone who we think is so brave across the country. For crying out loud, she stood up against the Clintons. And we needed somebody to stand up to the Clintons. So no, I think we met on Twitter. I think it was Twitter. She was a bit stormy, you know. It was like, wow, we need this girl to come to one of our conferences. I want her to tell her story. And Juanita is just so down to earth and amazing. I just messaged her. I'm like, Juanita, we need to come down to Texas. We need you here right now. Because we've got this conference and we're going to help big people up. And she was just like, yeah, name the day and the time and I'll be there. I didn't have to go through her people. No, Juanita was just like, Juanita, she just wants to help. And you've been amazing. Your spirit is amazing. She's so supportive, especially with our work. By the way, Camino Real Republican Women just named Juanita Broaddrick one of their honorary members. I'm their legislative director. And so we are so proud to have her on board with one of our Texas Republican Women's organizations. So that's really awesome. Okay. I'll go on to that. So with that said, I just want to say that to you all, how LATINOS for Trump developed a relationship with Juanita Broaddrick, and she's just been amazing and so supportive of our org here in Texas. So Juanita, we present you with the Spirit of America Award. And our president and the attorney will come up and say a couple of things. Yeah, and Juanita brought her books here to tell her story, so please,
great book.
You know, yeah, it's a great book, and she'll tell you a little bit about it. She can also autograph it for you. But Juanita, here is our award to you because you truly represent the spirit of America.
Can I sit?
Yeah.
No, I'll just sit. They told me I had 15 minutes, so I'll try to use it wisely. So many people, when I do go and talk, I get very long-winded, and I'll usually speak for 45 minutes or an hour. And they said 15 minutes, so good luck. No, I'll try to do my best. For those that don't know, when I was 35 years old, I was a nurse, I was a mother, and I was a struggling business owner. And at 35, I also became a rape victim. It was the most horrible event of my life. I was frightened, I was ashamed, I felt like a second-class citizen. I felt degraded. There's nothing that I can say bad enough for what it's like when you've been raped, whether you're a man or a woman. It's the most degrading thing in the world. And so many times, when I did finally come forward, people would say, why didn't you call the police? Why didn't you do something? I was raped by Bill Clinton. He was the police. He was the Attorney General of my state. There was nothing that I could do at that time in my life. Also, as the Attorney General, he regulated my businesses, my nursing homes. You know, he could have shut me down at a moment's notice. And I think so many times in 2018, when Eric Schneiderman resigned from his office, and I remember one of the victims saying, what do you do when your abuser is the highest law enforcement officer in your state? That's what I was 40 years earlier, and there wasn't a Me Too. So there I was. It was something I had to just go through. It was something I did not want to come out at all. I told 5 people within 2 or 3 days. The first one that I told was the nurse that was traveling with me and found me 30 minutes after the rape in a devastating condition, swollen mouth, bite marks all over my lip, and bruising already. My lip was about 3 to 4 times the normal size after Bill Clinton left my room. I did not invite Bill Clinton to my room. I was supposed to meet Bill Clinton downstairs in the coffee shop. When Bill Clinton gets to the hotel, he calls my room and says, you know, it's so crowded down here, and there's even reporters. Can we just talk about this in your room? So that's how Bill Clinton got to my room. I was going to talk to him about the condition of nursing homes and what needed to be done. And I thought the man was really going to help me, but he didn't. It was a bad mistake of mine. But I lived through it. And eventually life went on. I became a very successful businesswoman. My nursing homes got award after award for having the best nursing home care in the state. And that was really great. I had a son that graduated from law school, and that made me very proud. I served on numerous boards of healthcare associations, and that made me proud. And people say, well, how did you do all of that? How did you do that with all of that load being on you of being a rape victim? I found that helping others made me forget. I worked myself to death trying to take care of my patients. And so that was my therapy. In 1987, I opened up a children's facility for severely handicapped and mentally retarded children, and that was a dream of mine too. After 20 years, after I'd stayed hidden and stayed quiet for so long, the very thing that I dreaded happened. I was outed by the Paula Jones versus Bill Clinton suit when she talked about being sexually harassed in the hotel room with him. 2 of her investigators for her attorney came to my home one day, and they called me out on the porch, and I talked to them out there and said, would you please come forward and help Paula Jones in this suit? And I said, no, I will not. No way, shape, or form. I'm not going to relive that nightmare. I've forgotten about it, and you all might as well too. And I thought that would be the end of it. It wasn't the end of it. Within 2 weeks, I had a subpoena, and I was named Jane Doe number 5 in the Paula Jones suit. I was irate. And I went straight to that subpoena and deposition, and I said nothing happened. I lied. I was not about to let somebody drag me into their own lawsuit for their own good when I had tried so hard to stay quiet. And so I walked out of that deposition, And I looked at those attorneys and I thought, that'll show you. Don't bother me anymore. Well, they showed me. I had no idea that when those two investigators were on my porch that day, they had recorded our conversation. When I sat there and I said, that's too horrible, I can't go through that again, please don't call me. And so what do they do with that recording? They send it to Ken Starr. So my next letter comes from Ken Starr saying he's going to depose me. And I remember my son coming to my home that day and he said, Mom, you have to tell the truth this time. He said, Paula Jones' suit was a civil suit. This is federal, it's serious. And that was hard to do, to go into that room with Ken Starr's attorneys and people and sit there and bleed out my life again and what had happened to me. The next thing that happened to me was my name was everywhere. We're talking 1998 and 1999. My name was everywhere. I couldn't go anywhere. If I walked into Walmart, there's the National Enquirer or Sun or one of those rag magazines with my face right on the front of it. And it was so difficult. I can't even begin to tell you. Then I decided to do the Dateline interview, which finally aired in February of 1999. It was gut-wrenching. But I had to tell it my way. All the media was out there talking about Jane Doe number 5 lying. And so I thought, I've got to tell this my way. And I did. And as soon as that aired, and by the way, it took me years to watch it. I couldn't stand when it would start to play. It's like I was reliving it. So it took me years to actually sit down and watch the whole thing through. But the media attacked me again. I mean, viciously. They're just like they're for Biden now. They could care less what Clinton did back then. They were for Clinton. They were for Hillary. That's the way it went. So I go back into my safe space and I'm silent again. That was the only place I had, was being silent. And the hard work. Then 17 years after the Dateline interview, I'm watching TV one night. And on the news, here's Hillary. And she was doing a speech to a women's college. And all of a sudden, I hear Hillary say, all victims of sexual abuse have the right to be heard and believed. We're with you. And I thought, Jesus Christ, she didn't just say that, but she did. And I had joined Twitter a few years earlier, but I didn't really know about it. So what does an old person do when they want to know about Twitter? You call your grandson. And so I called my 11-year-old grandson. I said, I need for you to come over and show your grandma how to tweet, which he did. And I got the hang of it pretty quick. Anyway, on January the 16th, 2016, I formed this tweet. I was 35 years old. This was in answer to Hillary's tweet. I said I was 35 years old when Bill Clinton, the Arkansas Attorney General, raped me, and Hillary tried to silence him. I'm now 73, and it never goes away. And I thought, that looks pretty good. I believe I'll just click tweet. So I clicked tweet, and I laid my phone down and forgot about it. Within 1 minute, my phone started ringing off the wall. I mean, reporter after I had not said anything that I hadn't said 20 years earlier. I mean, it was all factual, but yet my phone was ringing off the wall. Finally, somebody wanted to talk to me. But about the third call was my son, the attorney, and he said, Mom, what did you do? And I said, I have no idea. I mean, there was probably 100 messages on my phone by the end of the day. And it was truly something. So I became a tweeter. I started with about 10 followers that day, and I have about 400,000 now. And it's just something, it's great when a victim can sit in her own home and troll her abusers. You know, it's absolutely wonderful. Ended up going to the second debate. I was in Washington, D.C. doing an in-depth interview with Aaron Klein in Breitbart, and I got back on the plane to come home, and I get a call from Steve Bannon's people, and they say, we'd like to have you at the second debate tomorrow night. I said, I'm on my way to Arkansas. And he said, well, we'll send you there. We can get you back on the plane in the morning. And it was a decision to make. My son was saying, Mom, please don't go. They're just using you. And I said, no. I believe Mr. Trump when he says it was just locker room talking about the Hollywood Access tapes. So I went. And if you'll remember, we had the impromptu press conference that we didn't even know about. And then that picture that you see of Bill Clinton with his eyes all bugged out, that's when Kathleen Willey, Kathy Shelton, and Paula Jones and I walked into the debate. And somebody snapped that picture of him. It was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. I do not regret getting on the Trump bandwagon. I'll never forget in the beginning, I wasn't really a Trump supporter. I was more a Ted Cruz supporter. And then I kept listening to him, and I thought, this man's speaking my language. I love everything that he says. And then I read a tweet by James Woods, and James Woods said, Trump may be vinegar, but Hillary is arsenic. And that's so true. Do any of you follow James Woods on Twitter? He's absolutely amazing. But I went to the second debate. That was wonderful. I loved it. I tell you, it was one of the best days of my life when President Trump won. It was like a huge weight had been lifted off of my shoulders, and that I would never have to worry about seeing the Clintons in the White House again. I went to the inauguration, stood there, watched he and his family and his wife, stood there with Howie Carr and his group of people, and we watched the president dance to I Did It My Way, and didn't do it.
That's right.
He really did it. If you want to keep up with me, you can go to JuanitaBroaddrick.com, or you can follow me on Twitter. I have a Twitter handle. It's a tennis nut. ATENSNUT, but the liberals call it a tense nut. But anyway, my tweets are not for the faint of heart. They come with a warning, and this is an example. During the 2018 dispute and all of the things that were going on about the wall and immigration, I tweeted. I walked into my bookstore and asked the owner if he had Trump's new book on immigration. And the owner replied, "Get the hell out of here and don't come back." I said, "Yes. Do you have it in paperback?"
Thank you, Miss Juanita. Give it up for Juanita.
Hey everybody, this is Lieutenant Colonel Alan West, and I want you to go and subscribe to Hippies for Trump. If you don't, even with a bad chicken wing, I still have some skills, and I will find you, okay? Hippies for Trump. Go check them out, because this is what's happening in America. We're all coming together. It's not about skin color. It's not about where we came from. It's about our character. It's about our heart. Hippies for Trump. Check it out.